On Thursday, July 28th evening, President Joko Widodo arrived in Seoul after his previous visit to Beijing and Tokyo. In South Korea, President's first agenda started on Thursday morning by meeting with Korea's top business executives, including Samsung, SK, Hyundai Motors, LG, and Lotte Groups, to name a few. In this meeting, the strategy for how Korean companies' investments in Indonesia is discussed, in addition to the Korean bid for hosting the 2030 World Expo that is also expected to be discussed. Indonesia's visit is the beginning of Yoon's diplomacy for the ASEAN countries, along with Seoul's pursuit of strengthening ties with ASEAN countries. Indonesia is the only ASEAN country with a special strategic partnership with South Korea. Indonesia and Korea are both members of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, or IPEF. President Joko Widodo also witnessed the agreement signatory between Indonesia's state-owned Krakatau Steel and Korea's steel giant company POSCO. Later on, Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, on the behalf of the President, also witnessed an agreement between Indonesian Electrical Company, PLN, and one of South Korea's largest electrical companies, LS, for a power infrastructure development project.
Hubungan Indonesia dengan Korea lagi sangat bagus-bagusnya. Karena Korea dan Indonesia berhasil mensepakati beberapa kerjasama yang memang sesuai dengan ekosistem Indonesia yang mau dibangun. Seperti bagaimana misalnya Indonesia sesuai dengan arahan Bapak Presiden harus menghilirisasi nikel. Korea negara yang pertama melihat kesempatan dengan membangun ekosistem EV battery. Apalagi kita tahu Korea sangat punya kesempatan menjadi pesaing produksi mobil-mobil yang selama ini di Indonesia didominasi oleh beberapa negara. Nah, ini sesuatu kesempatan. Jadi Indonesia punya strategi hilirisasi, Korea melihat ini sebuah market yang bagus yang bisa dipenetrasi, tetapi juga ini menjadi bagian tadi ekosistem yang Indonesia bangun, dan kita harapkan juga ini menjadi, karena investasinya banyak di Indonesia, membuka lapangan pekerjaan untuk masyarakat Indonesia yang sekarang kita tahu demografinya itu sangat muda.
President Joko Widodo is scheduled to continue his visit to South Korea for a bilateral presidential meeting and joint statement with South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol in the evening, before departing home to Indonesia afterwards, concluding his diplomatic tour in East Asia. From Seoul, the Republic of Korea, Alvin Kabolsha for See Today.
Also joining President Joko Widodo in the visit is the Public Works and Public Housing, or PUPR Minister, Basuki Hadimulyono, and he is scheduled to conduct a bilateral meeting with South Korea's Environment Minister, Han Wha-jin, that is to discuss partnership possibilities in the field of infrastructure. And during that visit, the minister expressed his appreciation for the infrastructure cooperation that has existed between Indonesia and South Korea, which could be seen at the implementation of the second Asia International Water Week in Labuan Bajo, East Nusa Tenggara. And during the event, the Ministry of PUPR and South Korea's Ministry of Environment signed a memorandum of understanding on water resources for the 2022 to 2025 period. And in addition, also, several collaborative projects have been running between the two countries, including sending 25 trainees to study smart cities in South Korea, which are a solar panel pilot project in a dam and the net zero water supply infrastructure project in the IKN.
There's a lot to be going on between
Right.
India and South
Yes.
Korea.
And as we know from the footage that we saw before that, President Jokowi had a meeting with the South Korean CEOs at the hotel, Lotte Hotel in Seoul, South Korea on Thursday morning. And then according to Antara, President Joko Widodo has guaranteed South Korean CEOs that investment problems will be promptly addressed if they encounter obstacles in their investment in Indonesia, not just to the ministers, but to himself directly. As he stated that if any problems related to investment arise, please contact our investment minister or our coordinating minister for maritime affairs and investment. If they cannot solve the problem, you can directly reach out to me for a solution to problems faced in about permits, immigration, and others. So that's a statement from Jokowi, as it is informed by the Presidential Secretariat Press Bureau.
Well, the way we see it is that President Joko Widodo is very active in his international relations during the second administration, especially that we're holding the presidency of G20. And his visit to China, Japan, and South Korea, it seems like the three Asian countries can actually be a strategic partner for Indonesia, bolstering the G20 presidency of Indonesia. So, and also with South Korea itself, that South Korea is the sixth largest investor for Indonesia, and the relationship and also the trade has been quite strong in the past as well, and they share the same value. We really love the South Korea pop culture. We love their Korean dramas and all that, and also the boy bands and BTS and all of those. So I think Indonesia and South Korea is gaining this momentum of having stronger relationship from now to the future.
As Minister Erick Thohir said at the footage, that the bilateral relations between Indonesia and South Korea is in the peak of like a harmony of bilateral relation between the two countries.
That's good.